Good evening. Welcome, everyone. This is the Native Wellness Institute's first Native Wellness Power Hour late night. So we're going to wait a few seconds to get some people on. So if you're just joining in, my name is Jeline Joseph, and this is the Native Wellness Institute's first Native Wellness Power Hour late night. So we're so happy to have you here and welcome. Uh, We're just getting situated here and letting some people get online. We're happy that you're joining us this evening. My name is Jeline Joseph, and I'm going to be your host. This is our first live. We're going to have many others every Friday night at 8 p.m. Pacific time. We'll be going live. We have an awesome lineup for this hour. We're going to do what's happening with the pandemic in Indian country, and we have 3 speakers from across the country that will be joining us. We have a interview with Martin Sensmeier, a native actor who's going to share with us. We have a couple of commercials, and you'll get to hear what that content is. And then all the way from the north, we have our good friend Chase, and his girls are going to come to us from across the medicine line, as they say, and share some of their beautiful songs with us. And then we have another special guest that's going to close us out at the end. And you'll see who that special guest is coming up here shortly. So we want to welcome you. My name is Jeline Joseph, and I am a member of the Aani people of Fort Belmont, Montana. I'm also the executive director of the Native Wellness Institute. The Native Wellness Institute is a national nonprofit organization. We like to say that we're a social profit because the work that we do benefits our people and benefits society. We are celebrating our 20th anniversary this year. So we've been doing this work for 20 years. That's pretty awesome. And I'm just super proud of our team and all of the great work that we do. We exist because of the lasting impacts of historical and intergenerational trauma. And more importantly, we exist, or just as importantly, we exist to help bring healing to our people. And we do that in a number of ways by providing training and technical assistance. We come into tribal communities, we come into urban communities and work with program staff. And since the pandemic hit back in March, everything came to a screeching halt, like everyone, like all of us are experiencing. And so we put our minds together and said, well, what can we do to contribute healing and wellness out there in our community still? And so we had a meeting and we brainstormed and we came up with this Native Wellness Power Hour. And so since 3 weeks ago, today actually is ending our 3rd week. We've been doing this for 3 weeks now. Every day at noon Pacific time, we've been offering an hour of programming, storytelling, concerts, workshops, poetry, all kinds of things like that. And then we had an idea to take it to the nighttime, late night. So for all you night owls out there, late night people, we wanted to bring healing and wellness and just some good fun programming to you. And so that's why we're here now with our late night show. So thank you for joining. We're super happy to be here. Tomorrow we'll be starting our 4th week of our Native Wellness Power Hour. And this evening, we're going to have 3 different representatives across Indian country that are going to share what's happening in their communities with the pandemic, what they're doing to take care of themselves. We have a special guest, Martin Sensmeier, is going to join us and share. We'll have a couple of commercials coming on, and you'll get to see that content in a little bit. And then we're going to end with 2 other special guests. One, Chase with his girls are going to share a beautiful song with us, and then we have a final special guest that's going to come on at the end and share some stuff with us there. So we're going to get right into our show. Welcome again. We want to hear and welcome Pearl Yellowman. She's a Dene, a Navajo tribal member. She works for her people, and she has been very involved in this pandemic in her community and helping to organize and prevent and all kinds of stuff. And we're super happy that she's here. She's been working long hours, and she's still giving up her time to come and share with us tonight. So let's give a big warm welcome for Pearl Yellowman.
Hi, thank you. Thank you.
There she is. Welcome, Pearl.
Hi, thank you for
Thank
having
you so much for joining us this evening. First of all, Pearl, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and the work that you do?
Yes, thank you. Adoyate. My name is Pearl Yellowman. In Schlinige Tsena Bithlin Schlen Adok is a Sana Bashichin. Trobahandashiche Adok Hanarat Nedashanale.
Okay, so I'm not sure if Pearl can hear me. I can't hear Pearl.
Oh no.
She's on. Pearl, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and the work? She's on.
Oh yes. Yes, thank you. Been part of the community development for many years, and worked in Montana for almost 25 years. I returned back home 3 years ago, and last year I was appointed by President Jonathan Nez to be an executive director for the Division of Community Development. And community development works with all 110 chapters throughout the Navajo Nation. Community development also oversees all of the capital outlay, both commercial and residential infrastructure. Also oversee the electrical and power line and water line infrastructure, housing, rural addressing, IT for the Navajo Nation chapters. And the 110 Navajo Nation chapters spanned across about 27,000 square miles. So have a large division and wonderful staff, and have made Winter Rock my home for the last year.
Oh, awesome. Thank you, Pearl. So can you just tell us about the COVID-19 situation and how it's impacting the Navajo Nation?
Right. So on March 13th, the Navajo Nation declared a state of emergency, and we are now in our 4th week of the emergency. It's been a trying time, and as of today, we had just under 600 confirmed cases. Navajo Nation spans across 3 states and borders Colorado. We are in the state of Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, and so our numbers reflect those states and the counties within the Navajo Nation.
Wow. So what kind of things are you doing to help people stay home and to self-quarantine and practice social distancing?
Our leadership has been very effective and empowering. We have all forms of leadership from the Navajo Nation leadership, and then we have our traditional and faith-based and our elders. We've been messaging both in English and in Navajo, social media, newspaper, radio, radio forums, social media forums, multiple ways of getting information throughout the Navajo Nation and to community members to stay home, to practice the CDC recommendations. We've made videos. We've been working with state leaders, our national representatives. We also have a health command center structure, and we've been operating under the emergency through the health command structure, communicating all CDC guidelines through the Health Command Center out to the community.
Oh, that's awesome. And so, Pearl, what are you doing for your self-care during this pandemic?
You know, I thought pre-COVID life, I thought I was a very active person, or I considered myself a very active person, considered myself a prayerful person, and was very uh, mindful of my wellness. But as the COVID-19 threats increase and the pandemic increases, it is hitting our community really hard. And as it increases, my attention to myself, my well-being has increased as well. I'm very mindful of my own thoughts of trying to remain positive, to be positive around those around me, to be truthful of my surrounding, to be honest, about the surrounding that's happening around our community. And this is a real difficult time. So I've been very mindful as to when I come home. I've been overprotective of my thoughts and my emotions and my feelings, and also been very thankful for friends like you. Many of my friends have been checking in. Family members have been checking on me. And our team and our staff have been working 12, 14-hour days, 7 days a week. And our opportunities to go outside and enjoy the nice weather, we have to give ourselves breaks, but I just been really overprotective of my thoughts and making sure that when I get home, I can digress and be in my safe place here. So also very thankful of, again, friends and relatives that have been checking in and just maintaining that prayerful spirit.
That's awesome. Thank you, Pearl. Well, please know that you and all of our friends in Navajo country are in our thoughts and our prayers and will continue to be. So we thank you so much for being with us this evening, and we're going to let you go to jump on some rest time for yourself. All right. Take care, Pearl. Much
Thank
love. Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. You too. Take care.
And so now we're going to go across the country to the East Coast. And we know that the East Coast has been an epicenter in our country with this pandemic. Of course, starting in the West with Seattle, and now we know the cases are really happening all over on the East Coast. And so now we're going to welcome my friend and our friend of the Native Wellness Institute, Jess McPherson, who's going to join us all the way from Baltimore. So welcome, Jess, to the Native Wellness Power Hour late night. Thank you so much for being with us. And we would just like to, Jess, if you can just like introduce yourself and tell us a little about you and the work that you're doing in Baltimore.
Sure. So my name is Jess McPherson. I am a Susquehanna Indian. My family are Shawnee. I am an artist, a cultural educator, and a social impact strategist. I started working in the area of urban Indian health about 8 years ago in the culture program that we have in Baltimore, or we had at the time in Baltimore for our youth, as a cultural educator, and doing a lot of volunteer outreach, just trying to get community members engaged in their care and their well-being. The organization I work for, Native American Lifelines, like I said, is an urban Indian health program. We're funded by the Indian Health Service. We do mainly outreach and referral services and health promotion, disease prevention, education services, that sort of thing. But we do also offer behavioral health services, telehealth, telebehavioral health services, and dental services in our community. Um,
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I still have fond memories that time that we stopped by and we got to eat with you all and dance a few dances at your evening activity. That was awesome.
that was a lot of fun.
So, Jess, I've been thinking about you guys when I saw how close the pandemic was to you guys in New York City. And then I've been watching, as the cases have been increasing in your area as well. So, can you just tell us like what it's like and how the pandemic is impacting your area and the kinds of things that you all are doing in response for your community?
Sure. In our area, we are semi-close to New York. I'll say closer than Navajo Nation is. So it's a little disconcerting to us. People in our service area in Pennsylvania, southern New Jersey, Delaware, they're seeing really high rates of infection, and we're seeing it come to Baltimore and DC and Virginia and the rest of the folks that we serve. We're expected in Baltimore to be one of the next hotspots. That's what Dr. Fauci is saying today that I heard. So that's kind of scary for us. We're in a resource-rich area, so I hope that the healthcare system and the social services and those supports can help folks. But really, our community is very kind of disengaged from that, disenfranchised, if you will. And so we do a lot of work to make sure that we're giving them information that we can trust. So one of the ways that we are responding to this crisis right now is we are taking the time to call every single person on in our register, in our case files. So every active client we've called 732 at this point. We're giving them a call, making sure that they have accurate information, making sure that they know the symptoms, what they should do if they feel those symptoms, how to handle that, and just checking in, making sure that they are okay, that they know that people care about them, and checking to see if they have the resources that they need. As we move forward, we plan to start a project where we will distribute resources, basic household goods, shelf-stable food items, cultural supports, behavioral health supports to folks in the community. And through that, we hope to also provide some day work and some contract jobs to help, support the community financially.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And just like Pearl, I know that you love your community and that you work hard. I can only imagine your workload through all of this. So can you just share with us, like, what are you doing for your self-care, Jess?
Yeah. Gosh, we're all experiencing so much grief right now. And for me, I had to really recognize that, take a minute, recognize that that's what I was feeling, and allow myself to go through that. And once that kind of clicked for me, I really began to have this different kind of hope. I'm really excited to see like what kind of innovations come out of this and what kind of ways we can reimagine our ways of being. And sometimes that's like a very like personal, like maybe I'll have an early retirement. Like maybe that's the thing that gets me through the day. But trying to think of new ways to address those problems helps me maintain some sanity and feel like okay, I can move forward through this day, because in a few days it's going to be different, and I try to see those things. The other thing I'm doing is really reaching out to people who I feel like have supported me and who I care about, and just maintaining those relationships and offering gratitude and saying, the way that I feel about those people to them, and offering care and sending out little care packages and doing things like that. Really, it makes me feel a lot better.
Awesome. That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, Jess. Well, I know it's really late for you, and I super appreciate you being on here and all the work that you're doing for your community. And I hope that you have a restful weekend. So thank you again, Jess, for being with us this evening.
Thank you so much.
And now we want to go all the way across the country to the West Coast. So this is where the pandemic first epicenter was, in Seattle, Washington. And with us this evening, we have my good friend and the friend of the Native Wellness Institute, Cleora Hill Scott. And she's joining us from the Potlatch Fund. She's a member of the Crow Nation. She lives on the Swinomish Reservation and she works in Seattle. And she's going to share with us what's happening on the West Coast. So welcome, Cleora. Thank you for being here with us. And Cleora, do you want to start just by introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about yourself and your work?
Kahe Ichilak, Malaysia, Basa Ichish, Cleoras, Ichish, Upsalaga. And so I am a member of the Crow tribe. My Crow name is Good Leader and my English name is Cleora. And so I currently serve as the executive director for Potlatch Fund. As you mentioned, is located in Seattle, Washington. We are a Native-led nonprofit in Seattle. We are a 501c3 community foundation whose mission is to inspire and build upon the Native tradition of giving and to expand philanthropy within tribal nations and tribal communities in the Northwest. We do this through grant making. We also do this through nonprofit development and inspiring philanthropy. Currently, Potlatch Fund has pivoted their grant making. We have 5 arms throughout the year that focus on several areas of need in our Northwest Native community. And we have started to take our last 3 arms and provide them for COVID relief to our Native communities. And we're about ready to roll out our strategies around that here soon in the next couple of weeks.
Awesome. That's awesome. So when you sneak into work or when you're out and about in Swinomish or when you're quarantined, so what are you seeing in regards to the pandemic out in the Seattle area?
Most recently, as it's interesting that you say that, I most recently made my way into Seattle and found Seattle to just be really chill on any given day. It's full of traffic, it's full of people, and it was yesterday we went into town and the streets were empty. The highways were fairly empty. It typically is a commute coming from Swinomish into Seattle to be as long as an hour and a half. And we were done in less than 40 minutes. We were able to make that commute just because there just isn't any traffic. And so it is interesting. The city feels quiet. The city feels, and I know no other way to explain it except chill. And so that's the impact I see in my workspace in Seattle. In Swinomish, I know I have several friends who are feeling the impact through furlough and layoffs as a result of, because many of the tribes out here, revenue are through casinos, and without that revenue, it's having a huge impact not only on salaries but on resources. And many tribes are supplementing their healthcare needs through casino revenue, and so tribes are doing what they can to essentially last through however long that we'll find ourselves in this crisis. And I'm seeing that here in and then I'm also keeping my thumb on what's happening back home in Crow. Just yesterday, I learned we had our first case on reservation. Swinomish here has a few cases, but they haven't been on within the village or on reservation. And so anytime you hear that somebody has it or somebody's struggling with it, the first thing you want to do is, at least for me, I want to extend prayer and extend hope that they will be okay.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for sharing that. And so I know like Pearl and Jess, you're a hard worker as well. I know that part of your life calling is being of service to your people. So what are you doing for your self-care in this pandemic?
I'm not doing anything any more different. I pretty much have uh, an aggressive plan for self-care. It's how I'm able to do the work that I do. The things that I continue to do I continue to pray every morning. I continue to smudge. I think probably different. I've been doing it a couple of times a day, in the morning and the evenings, and focusing in on our communities that are afflicted. I think, like the others, I'm also spending a lot of time asking myself in this pandemic, what is this teaching me? What is this teaching us as a community? What is this teaching us as a whole? And really trying to learn those lessons, and be mindful of also my energy, not to find myself spending too much time listening to the news, because it can create fear. Really focusing in my energy on healing and hope, and this will be over soon. Yes.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Cleora, for taking the time this evening to be with us and to share. And like with everyone else too, our thoughts and prayers are with all of you. And thank you to the Potlatch Fund as well for really helping to serve Indian country during this time as well. So thank you, Cleora, for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay, and now we are going to take our first commercial break. And so here with us this evening is Lori Jump, and Lori is here from the Strong Hearts Native Helpline.
Good evening. Hi, Jillian. Thank you so much for having us tonight. As Jillian said, I am Lori Jump. I'm Missionary Bay with the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians. I'm also the director for Strong Hearts Native Helpline. You're talking a lot tonight about the public health emergency that we're experiencing across the country. And we know that with all of the stressors that this has created in our lives, the social distancing, the unemployment, the not sure how people are going to feed their families, we know that that really increases the stress in homes. And one of the byproducts of that can be an increase in violence if you're living in an abusive relationship. And so I want to talk a little bit about my organization. It's the Strong Hearts Native Helpline. This is an organization that launched in 2017. We have been built by and for Native Americans. So we're very, very much in touch with what's happening to our relatives across the country. We feel it's very important for our advocates to be trained in sovereignty, tribal sovereignty, and tribal laws, tribal cultures, and spiritual practices, so that when they do take a call from one of our relatives, they're able to respond appropriately. Our helpline, our number is 1-844-7-NATIVE, and you can reach an advocate between the hours of 7 a.m. and 10 p.m. Central Standard Time every day of the week. So what are we talking about when we say domestic violence? Everybody knows the physical abuse that, those types of behaviors where somebody is hitting and slapping, pinching. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that because I think everybody knows what that is. One of the more hurtful types of abuse that we see is emotional abuse, which is where your partner really humiliates and demeans you and really takes stabs at your self-esteem, tries to tell you that you're not worth being treated better. And we know that that's not true. Nobody deserves to be made to feel that way. Cultural abuse is really important to us at Strong Hearts, like the type of abuse that's really specific to Native Americans. It's where, your cultural identity is used against you. You're either too Indian or not Indian enough. You are, um, denied the opportunities to practice our spiritual teachings and our traditional practices. When you're not allowed to do those things, it can really be very hurtful. One of the newer types of abuse that we see is really digital abuse. And that's where your partner is using technology, your cell phones, your computers, all of those things that we depend on every day, right? We don't go anywhere without our cell phone. But they can be used to track you. They can be used to see who you're talking to. They can be used to see, what you're saying and what you're doing. And it can be very dangerous. So we really would like people to think about that. But if any of these things that I'm talking about sound familiar to you, if they're raising a red flag, I'd really encourage you to take a look at our website and see what we have on there in terms of, some educational materials. And again, please reach out to our advocates who can help you kind of process what you're experiencing and think of ways to keep yourself safe, and then make a plan for how to, stay safe in that relationship. Um, we do have social media accounts that encourage you to check us out there. We're posting, self-care ideas and ways to keep yourself safe. We have Facebook, Twitter, and what's the other one? Instagram, sorry. And so please check us out there and give us a call if you are needing help. Again, we are available 1-844-7-NATIVE. We are available from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're here to listen, and we are hoping to help you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lori. So, Strong Hearts Native Helpline, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Central Time. The number again, 844-762-8483. Excellent. Thank you so much, Lori.
Thank you for having us.
So now our special guest for the evening. Let's do a big drum roll. Let's do a collective drum roll. We want to welcome Martin Sensmeier. Woo! I tried to have an assistant come and do my sound, but no one volunteered. So welcome, Martin.
Thank you.
Thanks for being with us this evening. So we're going to jump right into the interview.
Awesome.
So can you just tell us a little bit about yourself? Like, who are you?
Yeah. I guess, I'm Alaska Native from Alaska, Southeast Alaska, from Yakutat, Tlingit and Koyukon Athabaskan. But I live in the Southwest. So, me and my partner are living in Arizona. But yeah, I work in the film industry, producing and acting, and working on several projects. So that's, in a nutshell.
Awesome. Okay. So we know you're a movie actor. Tell us about some of your favorite films or TV shows that you've had roles in.
Ooh, well, I think, well, my favorite, I have to start with Magnificent Seven because that's the one that kind of created a lot of opportunities for me, but also it was my longest experience on a movie. I worked on that for 5 months, and it was just cool to go to work every day working on that movie. But I had fun working on Westworld. I had a lot of fun working on that one. Wind River, was a short experience, but that was, a good experience. Yeah, I mean, like the last movie I did with the Last Manhunt, it's not even out yet. I had a lot of fun working on that one. So yeah, I mean, I think every experience is different. Yeah, I have a lot of fun with them.
Nice.
Yeah.
So tell us, like, when did you first know that you wanted to be an actor, and then what did you do to get there?
Wow. I mean, it's something I've always daydreamed about as a kid, even. But it was never something that like you could think of like I'm realistically going to pursue this. Um, I think taking acting classes and just being in LA, living in LA, kind of like, if I'm here, I might as well do it. And I had people encouraging me and stuff. So, um, but I've, taken acting classes. That's where I started. Um, and I went through a lot of them before I realized, like, before I even started really having fun with it. But it was, yeah, just seeing other people, being on a set. I think I worked on as an extra on a TV show, and I got to see some of my, like Lou Diamond Phillips. I got to see him act, and like La Bamba was like my favorite movie as a kid. So,
Uh-huh.
uh, and I'd already been through acting classes and done acting, done scene work, and then to sit there as an extra and watch him do scene work, I was like, man, there's nothing, there's not, I mean, like, I could do this, so that was kind of like that at that moment I decided like I should really pursue this and really go after it. And then after that, that's when I started really like taking the classes seriously and looking for like, looking for the best teachers I could find and trying new teachers, and taking what I learned, what I could use from each one of them, a little bit here, a little bit there.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of develop my own process, so.
Nice. Awesome. Thanks. So, can you tell us who are two of your role models and why?
No, man, two of my role models. Let me think. That's a tough one. Um, my parents, obviously, because they they've been, like just watching them work. I think that's where I learned my work ethic from my parents. So I have to say them first.
Mm-hmm.
um,
Awesome.
but yeah, yeah.
That's good. Shout out to Ray and Eva. Um, okay, now this two questions. What is your most embarrassing moment and what is your most proudest moment?
Oh man, my most embarrassing moment. Um,
That's appropriate.
okay, that just made it a whole lot easier. No, joking. So, um, well, actually, yeah, I'll tell you a story about this when I filmed Magnificent Seven. Because like as an actor, confidence is kind of a good thing when you're trying to perform, and I had been working on this movie for like 3 months already, and I was getting good at getting on this horse. I had this horse that was like 16 and a half hands high. So it was like pretty tall, big horse. It was like the biggest horse on the whole movie set. And there was like 150 horses or something. And I got good enough to like swing up onto the horse. And I was pretty proud of that, because when I first got there, I couldn't get on the horse. And and the guy that was teaching me, this guy, he's a Blackfeet guy from Browning, named Scotty, and he was get a kick out of it that I couldn't get on the horse. But I started getting good, and I started getting on the horse pretty easy. I could swing on there, and we did this scene, and I was doing a scene with like everybody on set. There was probably like 200 people on set, all these extras, and all the seven. Denzel, I was doing the scene with Denzel. He's gonna tell me something, and then I get on the horse, and then I ride out. And we did this scene, and they were like, they asked if I wanted an apple box. An apple box is probably like this big, so I could step on it and then jump on the horse and ride out. And I was like, no, I don't need an apple box. Come on. And so I refused to get an apple box. And then we did the scene, all the leading up. He was all talking to me, walking down the street, and then I get to the horse and I get to swing up on it, and like I couldn't get on the horse, and I and that happened like four. We did like 4 takes, and I was like determined to get on. I couldn't get on, and finally they used the Apple box, and I was like, that's pretty. So yeah, and then
That's good.
and you know, Denzel, he was like, come on now, just use the box, it's all good, you know. And so yeah, it was kind of like, man, I wanted to show him that I could, you know, I knew what I was doing, but obviously no.
That's good. That is embarrassing.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. But you know, I have a bunch of moments like that throughout, like, you know, they happen pretty regularly, I think.
Yeah. So what about your most proudest moment? What's your most proudest moment?
I'm gonna be a father. Yeah, so that's like, it's the finding out that I was gonna be that I'm gonna be a father, and I think the whole entire this whole time that my partner's pregnant. It's amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that's
Oh,
I mean
awesome.
that's my biggest accomplishment, I think, and yeah, so
Yay. Well,
I'm very, very blessed.
congratulations. We're all patiently waiting. We can't wait. So to kind of just wind down the interview, and we're so grateful that you took the time to be with us here today. Can you just leave us and our viewers here just with some parting, uplifting words, just things that can help us and everyone that's in quarantine and just
Hmm.
through this pandemic? So would you like to leave us with some parting, uplifting words?
Yeah, stay at home. Uh, I hear all these stories about people going out and visiting their friends and stuff. Just stay at home. You know, I don't know if that's very uplifting. No, um, no. I mean, you know, I'm pretty. I get. You know, it's like I hear. Like, it's cool to hear other people how they're dealing and coping with it, or however you want to look at it, or managing your time. Um, I think, you know, you have moments where it's healing. You have moments where it's stressful. You have moments where it's like there's anxiety or boredom or you know, loneliness or whatever you're feeling. Um, you know, just keep in mind that this time is going to end, and things will go back to, like, you know, normal to a certain extent. People are going to go back to work, whatever, you know. Um, we're going to bounce back from this thing, and it's just kind of like a cool time to uh, take time to learn, reflect, you know, spend, you know, if like you're quarantined with your family, then you can spend time with your family. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but you know, like, it's, you do a lot of things to burn up time, you know, and like, I've been listening to podcasts and audiobooks. Um, and I get, like, sometimes I'll listen to like 3 or 4 chapters, and then sometimes I'll listen to 5 or 6. Sometimes I'll listen to one, and then I'll be like bored, and I'll be like,
Yeah.
I don't want to listen to this, you know. And it's okay to be bored. It's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to be all those things, you know. But I think, you know, what matters is how you react to that. You know, like,
Yeah.
sometimes people react with destructive behaviors, or you know, they just like, screw it, I'm gonna give up, or I'm gonna leave the house, or whatever. Just, you know, hang tight, and um, you know, try to find productive things to do with your time, whether it be reading a book or doing stuff around the house, or
Mm-hmm.
you know, like, I've kind of started cleaning things up, you know, getting rid of certain things, you know, even cleaning, like, I cleaned my car the other day just because I was bored. Um, but like, it's kind of, you know, like, it's kind of a thing of like, um, you know, when you take time to pick one thing and then spend a half hour on it, or, you know, you get a lot done. Or pick, you know, like, it's kind of like cleaning up your house or keeping your space clean, is kind of connected to, like, keeping your mind clean in a lot of ways, you
Mm.
know.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of correlation there, and I think, you know, it's a good discipline to just kind of manage your space, and reduce, you know, the germs that are around and stuff like that. And yeah, you know, we're gonna get the, you know, it's already, like, we've been in this thing for like, what, a month and a half or something. So
Mm-hmm.
you think, like, how much longer is it gonna last? Who knows? But at some point, you know, things are gonna change, and you know, it's not gonna be, you know, then you go out, you know, it back out into the world. And so, just try
Yeah.
to manage, like think about the people that are, can be affected, like the elders and I guess like a lot of people in a lot of places in Indian country right now are struggling pretty bad because, um, they might not have clean drinking water or, running water or um, healthcare facilities and people just, it's like people that, don't even know that they're transmitting can pass it on, so just got to be mindful of the elders and the people that, the young ones
Mm-hmm.
and everybody that, might be struggling with some kind of health problem or something that, people that
Yeah.
are especially vulnerable, um, and um, the more people stay at home and adhere to the rules, like, I think the quicker we get through this thing.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
but
Well,
yeah,
thank you.
yeah, so
Thank you, Martin. And we're
yeah,
super happy of your support with the Native Wellness Institute. We love it when you come and help
likewise.
us with our young people. And I don't know if you can see this, but you've graduated now. See that?
Oh, that's cool.
So we put it in the mail to you. Thank you. Thank you,
Oh
Martin.
man,
Tell
thank
Kahara and
you.
the baby we said hi. Give
I
them a
will. I
hug.
will.
Much love to you. Okay, we'll see you
Like
later,
you too.
Martin.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, my phone was going off. Okay, so now we have to go to a commercial break, and we have this amazing ball of energy for our next commercial break. Powwow Sweat.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi, this is LoVina. Can you guys hear me? Okay, so this is my 3-minute infomercial for Powwow Sweat. So we at the Coeur d'Alene Tribe had a CDC grant from the REACH program, and we had to create access to physical activity and create access to healthy food. And so what we decided to do was to infuse our culture into creating physical activity. And so we created Powwow Sweat, and it's an exercise program that you can find on YouTube on the Style Horse Collective page. It's on, you just go to the YouTube Style Horse Collective and you can find Powwow Sweat. You can go to our Facebook page and find Powwow Sweat. We have 8 dances that we use, and it's all different kinds of dances. This is Powwow Sweat. I don't know if you guys can see it, but that's what it looks like. And Shadeja Hodge and a lot of our Coeur d'Alene tribal members participated. And we recently just had the a tribe buy like 700 DVDs, and they're sending them out during this quarantine to help their people stay active. And so it's basically exercise with powwow dancing. And we have a warm up that was done by Rose Creek drummers, and they did our warm up and our cool down, and Bear Creek does all of the dances. Jonathan Nomi does one of them. He drums in the chicken one. But Powwow Sweat is just an awesome thing to do to stay in shape and to get healthy and exercise and drink water. And so, yeah, so that's where you can find Powwow Sweat on YouTube and Facebook. Go there, watch the videos, check it out. Shadeja's super funny. She's just a really like upbeat kind of person. And I'm super excited for the late night with JJ, Jeline. So I don't know, I can't hear Jeline. I know you guys can probably hear Jeline, but anyways, I love you guys. Power
Okay,
Sweat.
thank you.
Woo!
Awesome, awesome. Okay, thank you, Lavina. Powwow Sweat, catch it on YouTube or Powwow Sweat Facebook page. Awesome, thank you. Okay, so now we're going to shift gears a little bit and we're going to head north across the medicine line to Canada. And we want to introduce Chase Sayers and his two beautiful daughters. Some of you may have seen them in the makeup brush video. He'll probably share about that. So let's give a big warm welcome for Chase and his daughters. And they're going to share some good words and a good song with us this evening. So welcome, Chase.
Thank you, Jillian, for the opportunity. We're coming to you from Pipot, Saskatchewan. Tatse, Kakia, Kiwaku, Magante. All my relatives. These are my daughters. This is Cree. This is Danae. Say hi, my girls. We like to just give a shout out to Shaylin and Jillian for taking the initiative to bring all of us together to share throughout the lands of Indian country, Canada, U.S., wherever you are. It's our hopes that the song would maybe you'll feel something from the song. Your foot will start tapping. Let the music get into your body. This is a prayer song. It was taught to me from my mushroom, my grandpa. And we want to share it with you guys tonight. We don't want to take too much time. I don't know the limit here, but we're just going to sing this song before we leave. I'm going to have my daughter share a prayer. Where I work down in the school. I'm a cultural advocate at Chief Pipewat School. So we do a lot of singing. We do a lot of land-based education. All of it. It's our life from sun up to sundown. So here's a song. We're going to ask you guys to just maybe think of those that might need the prayers, need the blessings, and send that energy out. We hope to you guys benefit some way, somehow through this song. So here it is, and yeah, we'll sing for you. All right, that was a song. I know it's an old song. My bishop had learned it from his brother, who's another ceremony person. Actually does ceremonies, carries a lot of teachings, and it is our belief and our way of life that we wake up every day, we do our best. And we've been stuck inside our house for I don't know how many days. We made many songs. We've been on lab a couple times. Singing, that's what we love to do. We love to sing. We love to educate and influence the younger generation, the youth, the kids, all of this. My upbringing, I came back to. I come out of a tough situation in life to where I am now. I'm a rich man. What I have with my kids, what's given to me, my friends like Jillian, Shaylin, the people I work with in life, everybody you cross paths with in life, there's a reason for it. And yeah, so I'm gonna have my daughter say a prayer for you guys, and in our way, we stay seated when we pray. If not, we get lower. So we're just gonna ask everybody that's watching just to maybe sit still, bow your head, whatever you want to do. I'm gonna ask my daughter to stand and they're gonna say the prayer for us. So this is a prayer that they learned in our school. A lot of the other kids, the youth, they all hear this prayer every morning. We utilize it. We have the kids say it, so they're gonna say it for us. Like, oh.
Nagtawinan kisemanido wechenan anakakisika nianan nikwa simesa napewak eswewak napesesak eskwesisa eka kakia utaka asinoa uta aski hai.
All right. Okay. I believe that's kind of what we were told to do. I could sit here all night and tell you stories about everything, and I get kind of carried away. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't know if Jillian, you can hear me right now. If anybody can hear
Yeah.
us, we put out that vibe, and Jillian, everybody, your family, we love you guys. We look forward to not only with you, but everybody. Wakutoe, that's what we call it here at home. So thank you for the invite and Anaslaman. It means lots to us. Thankful.
Awesome. Thank you, Chase, and thank you to your girls. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll talk to you soon. Awesome.
Bye.
Love you. So in this pandemic time, it can be really stressful for many people. And I know I've heard a lot of people like, oh, I miss my parents. I wish I could see my grandma. And so we wanted to bring grandma to you this evening. So without further ado, hang with us for a few more minutes. We have a special guest. We have our grandma. So welcome, grandma, to the Native Wellness Power Hour late night.
Oh, it's good to be here. I just want to say thank you. You had look at this. That's my Martin. Oh, we all have to have a loved one to spend our quarantine time with. And this is my Martin. I know you had him on earlier, and he was all shy because he knew I was going to come on and talk about him. Holy, but I just want to share that with you right now. Holy, I even combed his hair. Gee Wes, I gotta say, I got a little bit of time. So, in this time, I just want to say, you gotta take care of yourself, your own wellness. So, shower. You're getting all greasy, oily, you might get rancid. So take a shower. Only brush your teeth. That's if you have teeth. You got to brush your teeth. Holy. And you guys, you got to cut your nose hairs. It looks like a spider leg coming out of there, your nose hairs. Cut your nose hairs. Okay? And you ladies, you got to trim your eyebrows. They look like two caterpillars up there coming together. Trim your eyebrows. And that deal breaker here. And even if it was my boyfriend Martin had this, cut your toenails. You can't be having long toenails, claws and all that. And when you do all that, you cut them and they tip away, they fly out, and you might sit on a big clipping about that big, stab your leg. You could get infection. You could hurt yourself and even just lose your leg. Holy, cut your toenails. I don't care who you are. You gotta cut your toenail. That's deal breaker there. You gotta take care of yourself while you're out there in this quarantine. Holy. But just, you've been dreamt into existence. I just want to say this last thing here. This last thing. You got to take care of your spirit. Take care of your spirit. We've all lost work, homes, education, our way of life, our foods, our culture, tradition, you see. You see, this country, we're all on the res now. We're all on the res. You see, the spiritual, our ways, we got our practices back in 1978. Yeah, we're on the res now. And when you're on the res, we take care of each other. We watch over each other. We pray for each other. I'm proud of our native people praying for everybody, the land, the earth, all indigenous peoples. Oh, I'm really proud of you out there. So that's all for now. I gotta go now. Remember, cut your toenails. Take a shower. Yeah, wash that greasy hair of yours too. But you're beautiful peoples. I thank you, dear Native Wellness Institute, Jillian, Joseph, and everybody out there. Holy, and you're all beautiful peoples. Oh, and my Martin. My Martin. Holy, my heart just goes thumpity thump for him. Gee, he's a movie star. I'll talk about him later. Enough about him. Beautiful. I gotta go now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye, Grandma. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Sleep well tonight, Grandma. Thank you so much for joining us. Well, oh my gosh, an hour went by already. Our first Native Wellness Power Hour late night has come to an end. We want to thank you for hanging in there. Please share it with your family and friends and share that goodness, the positivity out there with everyone. Tomorrow, Saturday, I'm not even sure what the date is, but it's our 4th week of our Native Wellness Power Hour. So at noon Pacific time, we're starting out. And tomorrow we have a very special guest. Many of you may have heard of Selena Not Afraid back in January that went missing. And sadly later, she was found deceased. And it really impacted Indian country. And lots of things have happened since, but her father has reached out to the Native Wellness Institute. He's a friend of ours, and he wants to share his story tomorrow. His story of healing, his thoughts about MMIW, his sobriety path that he chooses to live on. And our good friend and board member and NWA trainer, Theta Nubras, is going to be interviewing him. So they're going to kick off our week number 4 tomorrow. Sunday, we have a whole hour of prayer and healing songs from across Indian country. So I think we have about 10 different people from the west to the east and north and south that are going to come and join us on Sunday. Monday, I'm back on with my Power of Letting Go Part 2. And then we have a whole awesome lineup for the rest of the week, including even a children's storytelling hour. So please join us, Native Wellness Power Hour, week number 4, starting tomorrow. Drink lots of water, pray before you go to bed, have sweet dreams tonight, and we'll see you all next week. Thanks you for joining in. Good night.